Hello, I'm here today with Josh McCarley, principal from Elser Briggs. Josh, thank you for taking time to talk with me today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Renee. I really appreciate you reaching out and really looking forward to talking more about a tool that we really appreciate in our firm and has really helped us kind of achieve a more efficient environment that we were hoping for.
Well, it's a great way to start. So why don't you tell me a little bit more about your firm?
So our firm is Elser Briggs, as you mentioned, and we are a smaller firm that's been around since the 70s, is when we kind of took hold in the area. We've been in the same location ever since we got going back then. And over the years, we've built really strong relationships with financial advisors, the legal community, other professionals in the area that have really helped us be a very quality control, very client-centric type of firm. And we focus specifically on individual tax and tax planning um, advisory services, as well as businesses and trust and estate work. All of that just in that tax realm
Okay.
specifically.
And where are you regionally located?
We are in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Okay. And as principal at Elser Briggs, what does your day-to-day role involve?
So I do head up a lot of the technology and a lot of the technical research. So again, with the tax specific work, a lot of the polling updates, keeping in tune with all the changes that are happening on a national level and a local level, and helping communicate through our team what those changes are and how they impact our clients.
Great. So before Firm 360, what systems or processes were you using?
Prior to Firm 360, we would be what I would label a traditional Thomson Reuters firm. We really leaned into everything that Thomson Reuters provided, and it was a good connected system. We had a very solid process around how we utilize those tools. I've worked in other firms that were also those traditional Thomson Reuters firms, and kind of the same pain points existed, the same successful outcomes existed in a lot of ways using those tools. But given the nature and kind of the age of the Thomson Reuters system, it the work evolved beyond what those tools were able to accomplish, and that's what sent us asking the questions of what could be better for our situation and how we want to get the work done and how we want to work with our clients.
Okay, great. So once you came on board with Firm 360, can we talk a little bit about the onboarding with our team?
Yeah, it was a very smooth onboarding process for us. We had a lot of goals in mind, a lot of things that we were afraid to lose with the previous systems. We wanted to make sure, a basic thing that Firm 360 and UltraTax were going to have a happy marriage, and that was quickly realized. We were really appreciative and excited to see how Firm 360 and UltraTax created this really nice ecosystem for us that was a little more what we had hoped the previous system would be, and really put us in a place to transition a lot easier because all the connectivity was there, and um, the kind of, I guess, fears that we had going into it were quickly put to rest as we explored each topic. And I want to say we started in July of 24 with our transition, and that was pretty much wrapped up in September of 24. And we're pretty on the go and ready to roll out into that next tax season by that fall. We essentially had everything turned on and ready to go as soon as we hit January 1st, and started all of our projects and just launched right into full use of the system. And really great reception from our clients that it's the second portal system, second client management system that we had introduced to them over a couple of years, and they were a little hesitant at first, but it took off pretty quickly. people were really open to how easy to use it was and how easy it was to educate them on using that new on using Firm 360.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Speaking of change management, obviously we know that it can be challenging. What was your team's reaction to using Firm 360?
So I would definitely say there was hesitation there. Just in general, people have used the same thing for decades, and gotten really comfortable with a specific tool or tools that everyone was just used to using. So there was just that classic, is this going to work? And what are all these scary bells and whistles? But that became more, oh my gosh, there's all these bells and whistles and components that really speak to what we do and complement what we do. And a lot of the CPAs really leaned into, oh my gosh, we can communicate on a mass scale easier. We can send an engagement letter easier. There's a messaging tool that cleans this communication gap up. And our support team really got excited by the fact that we could more quickly and complete distribute certain client deliverables that before would have taken more time, more mailing, more points of contact, and the system really closed the gap on those inefficiencies for them specifically. So everybody went from, oh my gosh, is this going to be too much, to what else can we do with this?
So, how has your workflow or day-to-day improved since using Firm 360?
I would say that our workflow has definitely become a lot more streamlined and predictable. I would say there was some level of unknown in the previous system, in the previous environment that we had built. It took a little more work to identify what was open, what was work in process, what was next on the list. And there was a little bit more manual tracking. Some people had spreadsheets, some people had sticky notes. There were just different ways to coordinate our day to day, and everyone kind of had their own way of going about it because there was no one best way of doing that for each CPA. And in Firm 360, there's a tool for tracking your open projects. There's a tool for just seeing what you haven't worked on, what you have worked on, what's still outstanding, and more than that even. But those are the specific pieces that really hit home for us and made our lives much better, being able to just have a big picture of what's happening and when is it happening and what still needs to happen. All things that we felt like we didn't have a complete picture of before.
Yeah, that's something that we hear a lot in the field, visibility. Just having Firm 360 allows so much more visibility than folks had prior. Okay, so can you estimate how much time you've saved weekly, either per user or firm-wide using Firm 360?
So we have 8 CPAs, and I would generously estimate 1 to 2 hours per CPA per week in time savings, just on a general level with interacting with clients, client management, document management. Certainly time saved there with the way everything integrates and works so smoothly within Firm 360 versus what we had before. Besides the 8 CPAs, we have several other support members, and I would say it's probably 1 to 2 hours for each of those, for another 4 people. So between 10 and 12 folks, and so it's easy to estimate about an hour to 2 hours saved over each of those people a week.
Wonderful. Glad to hear it. So we touched upon this a little bit before, but can you talk to me a little bit about whether or not the client experience has improved, and if so, how?
Yeah, definitely, in the same respect that the experience improved for those of us in the firm, the clients have definitely commented about how much smoother and complete the new system is. The previous system that we had used, there was a lot of comments from clients about difficult of use and even some, I don't want to use this because it is a little bit cumbersome, not as intuitive as they were working through it. But when they were introduced to the Firm 360 product and the way the portals are set up and the way the documents load in there for them to access and interact with and download, the clients definitely responded well to that. And adding the messaging on top of that, being able to communicate with them a lot quicker about important topics, that has all really increased our client interaction with us and been given a lot of positive feedback since we've been using that system.
Wonderful. So glad to hear that. Has Firm 360 helped your firm to grow at all?
Um, Growth is a great concept. It's just not something that we focus on specifically. Uh, we feel that we have gardened and connected with and created a really amazing client base that we just want to keep and sustain in a really efficient and quality control environment type of way. And that's what Firm 360 allows us to do, is be more comfortable and confident in how we're focusing on the client and how we're working with them, and the work that's being put out is, exactly what we expect it to be. So.
What surprised you the most about Firm 360?
I think what surprised me the most is how much the clients enjoyed using it. We work with folks who are all over the US, and actually we have several international, more than several really. We just have people everywhere, and Firm 360 made it a lot easier to connect with those people and do the work, where in a prior system, we probably would have been waiting until that person, got back from their overseas travels or came back from their long-term assignment in another country, where now we can just connect directly with that client wherever they are, have a lot easier time collaborating and sharing documents back and forth, and giving them that end product without hassle.
So if you had not implemented Firm 360, where do you think your firm would be today?
I think we would be struggling a little bit. The pandemic and some other things introduced some unique challenges to our business and our profession in general. I do think that we would have had less decision-making knowledge. I think we would have had less of the big picture and just would be asking more questions and working a little more inefficiently, trying to get to the complete product for each client and finishing each project that we have for each client. I think it would have limited us in being able to take on new client needs, take on new clients in general. I think it would have just limited us in how we wanted to move forward and how we've been able to move forward over the last couple of years.
Great. Well, thank you, Josh. On behalf of Firm 360, I want to say that we're very happy to partner with Elser Briggs and so happy to have your team working with our team.
Yeah, likewise. But we really, really appreciate everyone at Firm 360. We appreciate the product and just the team in general. It's been amazing, and really look forward to our continued partnership as we move forward.